everyone, it's Marcy. I wanted to talk to you today about living with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Now, I was only diagnosed with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy 2 years ago, but with speaking with the head doctor about this, Dr. Kyle Cleric at the Mayo Clinic, I should have been diagnosed as a child with this condition. So I actually have almost 25 years worth of experience of living with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. The first memory I have of this condition affecting me is something called the Presidential Health Assessments. I don't know if any one of you remember that, but when I was a kid, back in the 80s and 90s, every year for PE, they had a representative come in and test all the kids of the school, how long it took them to run a mile, if they could do sit-ups, if they could touch their feet without bending their knees, just all these different health exercise regimens. And while I was a kind of plump girl at the time, it took a very long time for me to run the mile. I kept having shooting chest pains. They would start about here. They would go down to below my what would be breast. It just this line of fire. And my chest would tighten up and I couldn't breathe. I would be panting. It would hurt to breathe. And I would taste pennies or taste blood in the back of my throat. Now there was never actual blood in the back of my throat or my mouth, but I could taste it. You know, like if you bite your tongue really hard, you could taste that. I am very surprised that at that time they didn't stop and check me out, because I think it seems kind of strange that health professionals would not be worried about a young girl who has chest pains and can taste blood when she's trying to run a mile. But they didn't. They just tell me to try to do it as much as I could, so I'd end up walking most of it, because anytime I tried to start running, even slowly, I had that pain and the pressure in my chest and the tasting of blood. I have also almost all my life had trouble with stairs. And it would be the point where I could go up maybe one flight of stairs quickly, but then I would be panting and have a little bit of that chest tightness. And it's gotten worse as I've gotten older. I got to the point now that if I go up one flight of stairs, I'm in pain and I can't breathe. Most of the time, one single flight of stairs, I have to pause at some point and breathe and get my heart back to what feels like normal, get my breathing back to normal before I continue. Anytime I try to do exercise regimens, even like sweating to the oldies, you know, or any kind of light exercise video, I would always have to stop because I was short of breath really quickly. What's interesting about that is my body was not tired. My legs were not fatigued. I could keep doing the movements forever, it felt like, if I could just catch my breath. So that is a key indicator of that I've been having this for almost my whole life, that I've been affected with it. It got to the point where it wasn't just stairs that I had problems with, but any kind of hill or incline going up it. I can tell when walking with friends that there was a small incline, because I start to feel short of breath. When looking at it, you can barely tell anything, but I could feel it because I'd get short of breath, the chest tightness. Sometimes my heart would just start beating extra fast for no reason. Let's see, another indicator of it is, I spoke with this briefly before, is when eating carbohydrates. And I always said anything white. If I ate white rice, white potatoes, white bread, white pasta, sugar, anything with lots of sugar in it, even a little amount of it will make me feel short of breath, tight chest, sometimes even where my left arm felt weird. And there's been studies that have indicated if you overeat also that you can have that feeling, but for me, it wasn't so much overeating. If I overate with just steak and salad, no, I would feel too full, but I wouldn't have any of those symptoms. But if I eat a sandwich with white bread, you immediately feel that shortness of breath, that pressure that just feels wrong up in here. And those are all symptoms of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So I just wanted everyone to know about those, be aware of those, especially if you have a child or a young adult who have those symptoms, any of those symptoms. Get them checked. Don't just ignore it. They're not being lazy. They're not that out of shape because they're short of breath trying to do these things. There's something wrong. Now, if you feel tired or short of breath, plus your body just can't keep up when exercising, okay, maybe you're out of shape. But if your body could keep going, if you could just catch a breath, that's something different. And that is something that you need to be checked out. So I really wanted people to know what it's been like living with this all my life. I actually have extremely strong legs. I'm actually quite fit, even though I'm overweight. I've been a go person all my life. All my jobs have been very physical. CNA, you're bending, you're lifting, you're doing all these things. I've done warehouse jobs, I've done production line jobs, I've done jobs that most people say only men can do because it needs all this strength, this brawn, and I've always been able to do them. But when it comes to shortness of breath, that's a whole nother thing. And so I was made to feel really out of shape and really awful about myself for not being able to go up a flight of stairs with ease, or when walking, can't go up a hill without pausing many times. And now I found out it wasn't me. I actually have a heart condition. So just keep that in mind and be aware of it, so that if you think anyone might have this, you know, have them checked out. That's always the best thing. Ask for an echocardiogram and it'll show up, because many of those times that I was doing those things, I could have actually had basically a heart attack and died, because this was a condition that was not treated, was not monitored. And I'm actually really excited to see what I can do after my surgery. How many flights of stairs can I go up without having to stop? Will I become one of those crazy marathon runners? I don't know. I've never been able to run. So I'm actually very excited, but it makes me sad to think that I went through my life with these limitations, never knowing it was a condition I had no control over. And I don't really want anyone else to ever go through that either. So that's why I made this video about living with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Thanks for tuning in. Bye!